All right, if you're opening up a sports card shop and you're gonna get some cases like these, here you have it in all of its glory. We have all these boxes on the floor right now. Gonna have your base in this box, all of your uprights in this box, gonna have this little bag of felt, gonna have the side panels, and then you're gonna have all of your doors over here. So let's start breaking into this thing. There's gonna be two pieces of equipment you need for this one. You need scissors and a screwdriver. So we'll start breaking into this thing. So first off, you have your base right here. You're gonna wanna open this whole box up on all four sides. All right, so inside here, you're gonna have these foam pieces that are all trash. You can get rid of those. Those are gonna be a little bit of a buffer for it. Gonna have these triangles in here. These are gonna go in all four corners on both sides. You should have 8 pieces of those. And then you'll have this other smaller box that it has your lock in here for both sides of the case. It'll have these little plastic pieces that are your handles for the doors. And then it has some clips that are gonna go on top of the glass doors. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and lay everything out. This is gonna be the top of the case. So we're gonna take this, lay that flat down just like that. And then we can grab the actual base out of here. Now, I will be totally honest, this is my first time ever assembling one of these things, so I'm kind of gonna learn with you guys. So we have our base right there. You'll see that it has 4 prongs on the corners also. Same deal with this top cap, has 4 prongs on the corners. You can see those all around. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my handy dandy scissors, and we are gonna start cutting this stuff open. Recommend scissors instead of a knife, just so you don't scratch the frame if you're a detail-oriented guy. I'll open it all up in here. But if you want to make a mess, then hey, it's your shop. You can throw stuff all over the place and have a blast with it. So in here, you're going to have these different trim pieces. You're going to have all of your aluminum extrusions. So we're just putting these little plastic pieces in, and we're on our 4th one here. So about to be done. Not too bad, huh? Not too bad. Then you're gonna have these smaller ones. Think where glass is going also. Glass on the bottom, glass on top when you put that top frame on. So you go 1 piece right there. Should kind of snap right down in there. And then we go ahead and do that second one on this side. All right, so now you're gonna have these holes down here. The goal is to secure these in place before you start to put the glass in. So we're gonna go ahead. I ended up swapping my little screwdriver out for a power drill because, you know, I'm lazy like that. So we're gonna go ahead and grab 4 screws because you have 4 different sides. Make sure you have a small Phillips head bit on there. And then you can go ahead. So do the same thing over on this side. Got all 4 of those in, and now what we're gonna do is go ahead and open up the glass boxes. You're basically gonna take this, and your goal is to get it in one side of the track and into the other side. It helps when you have 2 people, but I've got my guy Kenneth over here recording the video. Here, Kenneth, help him line this up, please. Yep. Hold it there. We want to go up a little bit. There we go. Okay, you can start going down. Okay, keep going down. We're just gonna keep on going down. You might need to push it a little bit. Trash out of the way. Oh, I forgot, you actually have 3 pieces of glass in there because you'll have your top piece too. So for this one, looks like it'll fit. So Kenneth, you can hold that piece of glass up top. I'm gonna spread these out a little bit, but not too much. All right, you can start going down. Oops. I wasn't kidding, folks, when I said that this is my first time assembling one. This is literally my first time. There we go. Now that we have those glass side panels in, what we're gonna do is go ahead and get our top cap on top of the case, and we're gonna fasten that down. But before we do, I'm gonna go ahead and put these pieces right in here on the sides. I wanna make sure it's kind of indented level with that. and, you know, kind of level with that. Doesn't need to be exact, but somewhere flush in the middle. Then you can do the same thing over on this side too. So once you get that down, we can grab this top cap, and you are basically gonna take it, and then you're basically just gonna, you know, kind of pound it down until it sits right in there. So when you go around and look, you're gonna see this plastic film on there. Yeah, that's gonna come off, as I mentioned. So with that being said, we're gonna knock out these last 4 screws. Same thing as the bottom ones. Up top's a little easier because you don't actually need to, you know, sit down at all. There's screw number 1. Go ahead. Screw number 2. Now the next step here, we have that last piece of glass. So the trick for this, you're gonna wanna go, you know, up here. I set it down and then grab it from the inside. And then you're gonna wanna, you know, line it up in the corners. And then boom, just like that, sits right in there. It's good to go. Now it's normal to have a little bit of, you know, a little bit of movement, but you don't wanna have too much movement. And once you get these corner supports on, that's really gonna be what firms it up. So there's gonna be 4 screws per corner, and it goes exactly how it sounds. So you're gonna take this. It does help to have 2 people for this part also, but really what you can do is just, you know, line it up, line up your screw. Also, as a reminder, before you start putting these things on, make sure you peel this tape off the front. Otherwise, you might be stuck with a little piece. Now what we're gonna do is go to these bigger boxes, and same thing applies. You do not wanna have huge gashes in the center of your glass. Nobody likes to see that, especially when you have expensive stuff inside the cases. So you're gonna have your doors in here, which are gonna be these big pieces of glass that have the tracks on the bottom. Now these are gonna have that plastic on there, which you can go ahead and take directly off of it. I believe it's gonna be on both sides there, but I'm gonna grab this door. It's probably helpful to have someone else help out, but not a necessity. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off. Now this door that I happen to grab has that hole in it right down there, and that's the one that is gonna have the lock actually in the door. So I'll show you how to go ahead and put that together here in a second. We're gonna go ahead and crack this thing open, knock that stuff everywhere, but you're basically, you have this lock, has that mechanism there, and you're basically gonna drop that through, push it down a little bit, and once that's flush, you should be able to see the 2 holes through there. Just take your drill, take your screw, and fasten that in place. All right, now we have the wheels on that side. So we're gonna go ahead and flip this over. And then from here, coming back over to the felt strips. All right, now that we have those felt pieces on there, we have 2 here, one on this side, one on the other. Same thing over here. We're gonna go ahead and cap these off. Take this door, we will go ahead and put it on the back track. There we go. So you'll see there's these little wheels inside there. You need to make sure those are on the wheels. And once you have that back door in there, just push that off to the side. Then your door with the lock on it. And there we go. Slide in, it's on the track, and now you have both doors on there. And that's your case. And then you basically are going to repeat the same thing on the other side. And if you have that insert that's going to hold all the cards inside there, make sure you put that in from the start, and then you'll be good to go. Now we're going to show you how to put the lights inside these cases as well. So we have all of our LED components right over here. You're going to have your plug, your power supply, this adapter that kind of is a splitter that goes to both sides, and then you're going to have these 2 pieces that come to over here. Now the first thing that you're going to want to do, is the first thing that I do, is I just connect all of these together. So you have your power supply, you're going to want to plug that in. To your power supply, you want to plug in the Y splitter, and then from there you're going to want to plug these guys in. Now, what this will do is it'll help you kind of visualize the stream of like the order of events for this. You're going to have 4 pieces here. You're going to have 2 that are a little bit shorter and 2 that are a little bit longer, as you can see over here. And the whole concept is that the taller ones are going to go on the left and the right sides, and the shorter ones are going to go on the top and bottom. You're going to have those 4 for one side, and then these 4 for the other side. You're going to have your tape here that has the instructions to use 3 pieces of 2-inch tape per LED light channel, and then scissors. You'll have to have your own scissors, and then you're also going to want a drill, power drill of some sort that you can go ahead and you're going to want to put a let's see if this thing will open up. There we go. You're going to want to use a 1/2-inch thick drill bit on this thing, and the reason that you're going to have that is so you can actually go ahead and drill a hole in the bottom of one of these bases. That way you can actually drop the wiring through it. So you're going to want to do that somewhere right about in here, and you'll have the insert on the inside that will be able to hide it. So the concept here is you're going to take your entire cabling kit and take a drill, the 1/2-inch thick drill bit on there, and you're going to come right over to your case. Now I want you to kind of envision what we're trying to do here. You're trying to take this portion of it, and that's going to go underneath the case. And then you're basically going to want these 2 sides. These are ultimately going to go in the lower corner, and you're going to plug in your first light that's going to go over here and around the frame. So first thing we're going to do is just kind of find roughly where we want to put it. Let's say we want it to go right there. There you go. Have that hole. Can blow all that stuff out of there. And then what you're going to want to do is pull this out. And what you can do is drop that right down through there. I personally like to keep these cables right above it, and then you'll be able to use these to go into the side over here, and then same thing for over here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the first light. We're going to grab one of these longer ones, I believe. And you'll notice there's 2 different types of connectors on here. First one is going to be the male, second one's going to be the female. On the end here, you're going to have the male, and you're going to want to plug that into the female side that looks like that. So I'm also going to take my 3M tape, bring this over here, 3 2-inch pieces, inch number 1. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to stick those there for now so I can put them on the side. So you're going to have your female side, and you want this light to actually face towards the inside of the case. So the goal here is going to be to stick it on just like that. You go on the side of this frame, and it's going to go right about here, equidistant from the top and the bottom. So I'm going to take a piece of tape number 1, stick that down right about there, stick that right about in the center, and then number 3 we can go ahead and put up top. So we got the tape on there, and we took all of the red stuff off, the little protectors. So we have our female side over here, and we're basically going to put this on the inside of the case. Come over here, and you're going to connect the male and the female to each other. Now we're going to move over to the left side, where we're going to grab one of the longer ones once again, and then we're going to put that down the side. Now we're going to go ahead and do the last one here on the bottom. Make sure everything is all squared away spacing wise. It will be a little bit on the tight side, so you might want to move those connectors a little bit. And then you can go ahead and stick it down. Now what we're going to do is make sure this last connector over here is connected. And then once you have all of those connected, move this one out of the way. And this connector is just going to be loose over there, which you don't need to plug into anything, so I can just go out of the way. We moved our case over by an outlet. What we're going to want to do is this side's going to have to get plugged in, and then we're going to run this one underneath. Down here, have my power outlet. Going to go ahead and plug this thing in. You'll have that blue light that comes on, and then you drop this cable through. So now I need to get this cable out from underneath. And obviously be careful when you do this. So boom, we have our cable, and then we're gonna set that back down, and you're just gonna go ahead and plug that in, and now you have light. And yeah, you got the big boss cheering over there. But yeah, have your lights going all the way around the frame. Close your doors, and you're gonna go ahead and repeat that on the other side. And that is it.